yanna, yanna ho, yanna, yanna, yanna ho. Long ago, when the world was young, buffaloes could talk. They say in a village far away there lived a young girl. They called her the Quillwork girl because she took porcupine quills and she made beautiful things out of them. She used them to sew beautiful patterns in the deerskin clothes of her people. And everyone wanted her to make clothes for them. And they called her the Quillwork girl. Well, one night the Quillwork girl had a dream that she had 7 brothers living over 4 big mountains, and every night she had the same dream. Finally, she went to her mother and father, and she told them about her dream. And she said, if I climb those 4 mountains, I know I will find them waiting for me on the other side. I must find my brothers and help them, she said. And the father said, well, this sounds like a special dream, my daughter, but you cannot go alone. Your mother will go with you. So the next day, the mother brought 6 beautiful dogs. They packed food and water, put them on the backs of the dogs, and then the mother, the Quillwork girl, and the dogs began the great journey. They climbed over the first big mountain, over the second big mountain, and then the Quillwork girl said, Mother, I must climb the last 2 mountains alone. And the mother looked at her daughter and she said, oh my daughter, you've grown up before my very eyes. Why, you've grown so smart and wise. Why, you're all grown up, she said, and I must let you go. So the next morning she hugged her daughter for the last time and waved goodbye. Well, the mother started her journey back to the village, and the Quillwork girl took those 6 dogs and began to climb the 3rd and then the last mountain. As she came down the last mountain, she saw a stream down below and the biggest teepee she had ever seen. It was covered in deer hide, painted with suns and moons and stars, and there was a trail of smoke coming out the top. And then she saw a little boy come running out of the teepee. He was a small little boy with long hair made into braids, and the braids were so long they touched the ground. Well, the little boy came running across the stream and he met her. He said, you're going to be my sister. He said, you're the Quillwork girl. He said, I knew you were coming. And the Quillwork girl said, ah, you're going to be my brother. And the little brother said, yes, you are now my sister. Come. And they went back to the teepee. And when the sun went down, all the other brothers came home from hunting, 6 of them. And they came into the teepee one by one. And she gave them all the gifts that she had made for them, deerskin shirts and deerskin pants with the most beautiful color of porcupine quillwork design in them. And all the brothers were so happy they now had a sister. And then next morning they wore their colorful clothes and they went off to hunt, leaving the little boy and the Quillwork girl home inside the teepee. Now when the sun was high in the sky, there was a knocking at the teepee door. The little brother opened up the door and there stood a little baby buffalo. It was a cute baby buffalo. The little buffalo looked up and said, "Oh, I'm from the Buffalo Village," he said. "I'm here to get the Quillwork girl. She must come and live with my people and make those beautiful clothes. I must take her today," he said. And the little brother said, "Well, she is my sister now. You cannot take her, you tell your people." I said, "No." "Very well," said the little buffalo, and he runs over the hill back to his village. Well, the little brother was not afraid. The next day, there was a louder knocking at the teepee door. The little brother opened it up, and there stood a bigger buffalo. It was the mother buffalo. She stood there with her hooves on her hips, and she looked down at the little brother. "Give me the Quillwork girl," she said. "She must come and live with my people and make those beautiful clothes, especially for me." "Now give her to me now," said the buffalo mother. Well, she's my sister, said the little brother. You cannot take her, you tell your people. I said no. Well, said the mother buffalo, if she doesn't come with me today, tomorrow, my people will just send a bigger buffalo, much bigger than me. And the little brother looked up and said, I'm not afraid of no buffaloes. Very well, said the mother buffalo, we'll see about that. She snapped her heels together and ran over the hill back to her village. The next day, there wasn't a knock on the teepee door. There was a loud boom, 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 boom. The whole teepee shook. The little brother didn't dare open up the teepee door. Instead, he made a small crack in the door, and he looked out the crack and right up into the biggest nostril he had ever seen. It was a hairy-looking nostril. And a loud voice said, I'm the buffalo bull. Give me the Quillwork girl. Give her to me now. And he stomped his hooves. The whole teepee shook. The little brother whispered, but she's my sister. I won't let you take her. If she doesn't come with me today, tomorrow, my people will send a bigger buffalo, much bigger than me. Boom, 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 boom. And he stormed over the hill and disappeared. The little brother looked out of the teepee and he said, I'm scared. I'm really scared, he said. So when all the brothers came home from hunting, the little brother told them everything. And all the brothers said, we're not going hunting tomorrow. We're going to wait and see what the buffaloes do. So they waited all night long. Early the next morning, they heard a rumbling in the ground. The winds began to blow. There was a thundering in the air. They looked on top of the hill, and they saw a cloud of dust. And out of the cloud of dust, they saw the biggest buffalo they had ever seen. It came charging down the hill with the biggest horns. Get your magic arrows, the brothers yelled. The little brother ran to his sagebrush bed. He got his magic arrows and his magic bow. He quickly put one arrow in the bow and zoom, the arrow flew. It hit the back of the teepee, and the back of the teepee completely disappeared. Then out of the ground there popped a tree. It was a pine tree, and the pine tree began to grow right in the middle of the teepee. The little brother shot another magic arrow, and it hit the trunk of the tree, and branches popped out all the way to the top. Quick, the little brother yelled. Jump on the branches, hurry! So one by one, they hopped on the branches as that tree grew right through the roof of the teepee. That pine tree began to grow up in the air as that giant buffalo came down that hill with his big horns, and he charged right into the teepee, and the teepee flew into many, many pieces. Oh, and the tree went higher and faster as the little brother shot his magic arrows. The tree went higher and faster, but the giant buffalo didn't give up. He charged into that pine tree again and again and again. The whole pine tree swayed back and forth, and finally it began to crack right in half. And the little brother yelled, jump when I tell you to! So he shot another magic arrow, and then the pine tree took off like a rocket. It zoomed faster than anything you'd ever seen. It soared right up into the clouds, and the little brother yelled, jump! And they fell off the branches of the pine tree one by one. They fell down through the air, and finally they were caught safely by the clouds. They bounced up and down inside the clouds. Finally, they all stood up. They walked to the edge of the clouds. They looked down at the ground, and they saw the pine tree crack in half. It went smashing down to the ground, and they saw the giant buffalo looking up at them. And there they were. They walked inside the clouds, and finally the Quillwork girl said, now what are we going to do? And the little brother said, I got one magic arrow, he said. I'll turn us all into stars. So the little brother took the last magic arrow, put it in the magic bow, and let it fly. And as the arrow flew through the sky, they all turned into bright, beaming balls of light. They got so hot and so big and so bright, they zoomed one by one off into space. And they landed in the sky as stars called the Big Dipper. And the brightest star up there is the Quillwork girl because of all those beautiful clothes she made. And the other stars are the other brothers. And there's one tiny one up there. Well, that's the little brother. And you know, this is a story about a time when we say that even stars were once magical people who walked on the earth. And that's the end of the story. Hey Anna, ya hey Anna ho, yanne yanne yanna ho,